this past weekend, Andrew and I went on our 1-year anniversary trip to Bayfield, Wisconsin. We had such a good time despite it being a rainy weekend, but I thought I would share some of my favorite spots that we went to while we were in Bayfield. So getting there. So for those of you that are traveling from the Twin Cities, it's about a 4.5-hour drive. We had to do a little bit of a detour with some of the roads being closed, but that's just summer construction. But we chose to go all the way up through the Duluth and then kind of the scenic route and then over straight into Wisconsin from there. So Andrew and I stayed outside of Bayfield at an Airbnb. It was a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom little cabin. It was super adorable. We loved our stay there, especially the fact that it was rainy most of the weekend. We felt like we had enough space, but we weren't cooped up in a sense. We didn't feel like we were cooped up like you might feel like in a regular hotel room. The Airbnb was about 10 minutes away from Bayfield, so it wasn't that hard of a drive. It wasn't that long of a drive. But I will say it was very quiet and very peaceful, and it felt, despite there being a road close by to it, it felt very, very quiet. It was very quiet, very peaceful, very calm. We also really enjoyed the fact that they had a full kitchen, so we didn't feel like we had to spend every single meal outside, at a restaurant or at a bistro or anything like that. It was nice to have like a slow morning. One morning we made pancakes. It was just really nice. The Airbnb also overlooked Raspberry Bay in Lake Superior. The nice thing about this property too was each cabin, there were 3 cabins total on the property, had their own fire pit. So we didn't have it rained pretty much the entire time, so we weren't able to enjoy the fire pit, but you had your own fire pit if you wanted to. So it's kind of nice. You didn't have to share it. You could have your own fire. The other nice thing is this cabin also had a grill. We didn't choose to grill, but that option was there if you wanted it. There were so many good restaurants and bars within the area, but I think my favorite place that we went to was the deck at the Bayfield Inn. It was stunning. You had beautiful views of the marina and Lake Superior. The food was great. They also had gluten-free options as well. And while we were there, they also had music going on at Memorial Park. So it's literally just right down below the deck. And so there was music going on, and it was just really nice. So while the music was playing too, I turned to Andrew and I was like, this literally feels like a Midwest Stars Hollow. Like the music, and she was playing in a gazebo and overlooking the water, and it was cold, so everybody was kind of bundled up. But even all along Memorial Park as well, everybody was in chairs or sitting on blankets, and it was so cozy and relaxing. So that being said, that was probably my favorite spot that we went to eat at in Bayfield. For lunch one day, we went to the Mani Petty Bistro. This was also super good. I had a fish sandwich there. They also had gluten-free options, so if you're interested in that, they have plenty of options there for sandwiches. But it was delicious. Very good food. The other nice thing about this is I would say we kind of chose to go and eat lunch or dinner, kind of either like a late lunch or early dinner. So we really never had to wait to get a spot at one of these restaurants. And while we were over on Madeline Island, we also stopped and got lunch at the beach club. And the beach club is basically right off of the marina. So it's easy to get to if you even just wanted to walk right into town. It's probably less than like 500 feet. And again, we didn't have to wait at all to be seated. It was pretty much get served right away. We were in and out, I want to say probably within a half an hour or 45 minutes. They also had gluten-free options as well. So that being said, I never felt restricted at any of the places that we went to eat. I felt like I was able to have a sandwich or a burger or even like pizzas. There were quite a few different places that offered that. While we were there, we also went to Wonder State Coffee, and this is like the most adorable coffee shop. If I could go there every day, I definitely would. I got a vanilla latte each time we went, and it was delicious. But it was so quaint, and we went on a Friday morning, so there were still a ton of people there in the morning, and everybody was working, and it was just that like super nice coffee shop vibe. Um, but like even the interior design, like it looked so cute and bright in there. But again, it was so crowded, we weren't able to actually sit in there. But we did go outside and sit on the benches. It had stopped raining for a little bit, so we're like, oh, let's just go sit outside. And that was really nice as well. For dessert one day, we went to Sweet and Salty, and super good. They had so many different options of ice cream, and I mean, who doesn't want ice cream? I mean, honestly. I got the espresso, I think it was like caramel swirl with espresso beans. It was delicious. I was definitely wired after it, but it was very, very good. I think Andrew got cookie dough or something along those lines, but definitely very good. We also went to the Copper Crow Distillery, which is right outside of Bayfield. I want to say it was about 5 to 10 minutes away. They had so many seating spots outside. Inside, it got crowded pretty quickly. We were there within a half an hour of when they opened, and pretty much all the spots inside were taken. But they have so much room outside, picnic tables that you could sit at. But they had a full cocktail bar, and so there were plenty of options no matter what your preference is. The nice thing about this distillery too, it was only about 5 minutes away from the Airbnb where we stayed. So again, everything was just so close together. Like, even though we didn't stay downtown Bayfield, we still never felt like we were really that far away from anything. Another fun spot that we went to was the Bayfield Winery and Blue Ox Cider House. It was about, I want to say about 10 minutes out of town, probably about 5 minutes, again, 5 minutes away from our Airbnb. It was in a cute little farmhouse that they've renovated into a little tasting area. When we went, it was raining, so it was crammed inside, but they were able to kind of shuffle and get everybody in, which was extremely nice. But it was fun. They have different tasting flights. They have some cheese and crackers that you can have along with tasting. And when it's nice out, they have some beautiful property that you can go sit out on. So when we first got to Bayfield, we had some time to kill before we were able to get into our Airbnb. So we decided we were gonna head over to Madeline Island. And to get to Madeline Island, you do need to take a ferry, and you are able to bring your car on the ferry as well. Or you could just walk on if you really wanted to. And I think they even allow you to bring your bike as well. But for our car, it was around $67 round trip, and it's about 25 minutes to get over to Porte on Madeline Island, and then 25 minutes back as well to get into Bayfield. But it was first come, first serve. So basically you just show up to the ferry site and you see if they have a ticket available for the time that you're wanting. I would say we really did not need to wait at all. We went on a Thursday and it was around 1 p.m. So it really wasn't that crowded. We bought our ticket and we were on the ferry within a minute or two. And I believe they said in the summertime, they're running about every half an hour just to kind of keep up with demand and keep things going. I will say on the way back, we did have to wait a little bit longer, but it wasn't anything that was overly shocking. Porte also has the cutest little downtown area. There were quite a few just different shops. I will say that there were only about 3 or 4 restaurants on the island, and one of them, the one that we went to, was the Beach Club. I'm sure as the season progresses, more will open up. Or it could also be due to the fact that we were there on a Thursday and not on a weekend day. but there were still plenty of options to choose from. Once we were at LaPorte and then had lunch, we went out to Big Bay State Park, which is about a 10-minute drive from LaPorte. And it was about $11 to get into the park. Once we were in the park, we went to the overlook point, and it was a very short walk, easy paved trail, right out to the water and the cliffs. And it was so spectacular to see just how stunning, and it's so strange to be like, I am on an island in the middle of Lake Superior. Like, it's the coolest, most stunning view. We did try to take Bayview Trail. However, it was, with all the rain that we've had this spring and even on the trip itself, it was extremely muddy and very, very buggy. We ran into a couple that was passing us as we were walking on the trail, and we had seen a few kind of like muddy areas, and we just asked them kind of like, is this what we should expect the rest of the trail? And they told us that it does get much worse. That being said, I would still recommend going to the overlook if you have time. Otherwise, I would recommend going to Big Bay Town Park. So it's free to get into. It's about 5 minutes away from the state park and about, I would say, 15 minutes away from LaPorte. But it has views of the lagoon, which I didn't even know there was a lagoon, but it was also just stunning. And the nice part is, if it is rainy or super muddy, there is a boardwalk that goes along the beach. You don't get super muddy or anything like that, and you're on stable ground. So I would say if it is super rainy, this might be the better option in terms of going for a walk or trying to be close to the beach area. A few other activities we did was the Bayfield Maritime Museum. So it was free to go into, and it had some super cool history about just Lake Superior and LaPorte and the Apostle Islands, as well as just Bayfield in general. And like I said, it is free to get into, but they do ask for a donation. And if it's a rainy day, I would say this is just a very fun way to kind of get to know the area. One of the activities that I had really wanted to do originally when we booked this trip was to go kayaking through the Apostle Islands. However, we had looked at a few different places, and quite a few of them said that they were probably going to cancel. So we opted to do the Apostle Island cruise tour, and we went on the grand tour, and it was so cool. I cannot say it enough how much you should do this. Even if it's raining, you're covered. And I believe they won't sell out enough tickets. So like if it is a rainy day, they'll make sure that everybody can fit underneath the boat so that everybody's covered. But they had an awesome captain. I think his name was Mike, and he just did a fabulous job of narrating and talking about the Apostle Islands and educating, and it was just super entertaining. And the nice thing about the ferry is too that no matter what side you're sitting on, he will make sure that each side is able to get up close and look at the Apostle Islands. So everybody's got a fair opportunity. It was so cool. During the tour, Andrew and I went on the main deck, but it was towards the back of the boat. And we stood kind of next to the side. So we were able to be outside, but we were blocked from the wind. But we had an unobstructed view, so no windows or anything that we could see directly basically outside because we were outside. But it was like I said, but it was nicer than sitting up on the top where then you're not blocked by the wind at all, which it was. We walked up there for a little bit and it was pretty chilly. But being in the back of the boat, blocked by the wind, but still able to be outside and have that unobstructed view, highly recommend that spot. And the windows inside also open up, so you could have an unobstructed view in the actual covered area as well. There were quite a few photographers that I saw on the boat that they chose one of the windows that you were able to open up the window so that they had an unobstructed view while they were taking photos. The grand tour was $56 per person, but I think it was about a 2.5, 3 hour boat ride, and I highly recommend it. It was so cool. Another activity that I thoroughly enjoyed in Bayfield was shopping downtown. So a few of the stores that I really enjoyed was Penny Print Studio, and it was kind of a little bit off of the main roads, but it wasn't that far of a walk by any means. But what they do is they have a bunch of local artists who have created different designs, and you can put their designs on any t-shirt or any sweatshirt, and a little bit goes back to the artists as well as the small business as well. And right next door was Honest Dog Books, and this bookstore was super cute. They had a bunch of different suggestions of, if you like this book, you'll probably like this other book too. But this would be an awesome spot too if it is a rainy day and you're like, I just want to sit and read a book. They have so many different kinds, so many different genres. Go check out the store. My favorite store while we were there was Lake Superior Scandinavian, and it is a jewelry store by a local artist, and I'm actually wearing one of the necklaces. But she just had a cute, super cute store. Everything there, most of her jewelry, it felt like was pretty minimalistic, but it was so cute, and everything was very reasonably priced. So I would highly recommend checking it out if you're just looking for something to kind of treat yourself a little bit. All this to say, if you ever get the opportunity to go to Bayfield, I highly recommend it. We had such a fun time, even with it being rainy weather. And if you have a favorite spot in Bayfield, or a favorite restaurant, or a favorite place that you stayed, drop it in the comments below. But I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.